Well, hello racing fans, and welcome to our Gallop TV preview show for Tuesday the 8th of October. It's Hollywoodbets Durbanville. It's our first local race meeting for the week, and we'll see what's on offer at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. 10 races carded. The starting times: race number 1 at 12:10, and it should be a late end. Yes, it is. 17:20 will be the last race, race number 10. 2 jackpots, races 5 and 7. And usually we have Graham Hawkins on the line, but really nice to have him in town. He is in KZN, so he's graced us with his presence in the studio. Graham, nice to have you in studio.
Nice to be back in Durban, just for a day, but wonderful to be with you in the studio.
Okay, let's get straight into it, Graham, and we'll begin with race number 1. Doesn't form part of the exotics. It's a maiden plate for fillies and mares. 1,250 meters the distance. At the time of recording, I'll give you the betting that I've jotted down. Number 1 is at 5-2. Horse number 5 is at 11-2 and 7-22-10. Number 10 back at the George is at 7-2. It's double figures, the balance. Good introductions from a few runners here, Graham, but I've noticed that, these runners that made the good introductions were unfancied first time out. Number 1 at 125-1, number 5 at 50-1, 7 at 25-1. How much can we read into them coming on after those debuts?
Now, I think there's a lot to come. 7 Miraculous in particular. I think he's entitled to be favourite, even though he's got a length and a half to find with number 10 back at the George. I think back at the George was more experienced last time out, went second to Beware the Bomb. Miraculous had just about the worst of the draw that day, had a lot of traffic issues, ran 6, 2 1/4 lengths behind Beware the Bomb, and will come on a ton for that run. Interestingly, when Goodness Gracious Me, number 1, made its debut behind Polynomial, back at the George actually ran behind it. So there's interesting collateral form between Miraculous, back at the George, and Goodness Gracious Me. I think they are clearly the principals in the race. Number 5, Rahaba, should progress from that fair debut, although finishing behind both Miraculous and back at the George. Doesn't form part of the exotics. I do make number 7, Miraculous, my top choice. I think there's a lot more to come, and I think she'll have benefited a great deal from the experience of that first run from numbers 1, 10 and 5. So Miraculous, I think, is a worthy favourite in the first.
Okay, that could be a roving banker if you're not convinced on the win. 22-10 is the price, going to be Graham's top choice here. Number 10, Miraculous. 7, 1, 10 and 5 in order of preference. Well, talking about exotics, they will begin in race number 2. It is the start of the bipod. It's a maiden plate over 1,250 meters. A lot of unknowns here in race number 2. Bring up the field and have a look at the betting. Number 2 is A Freak at 22-10. Number 5 at 6-1. 7 Green Garnet is at 15-2. Nice to see Athandiwe Mgutla have a winner for Eric Sands on his first visit down to Hollywoodbets Durbanville for a long time, which was on Saturday. Number 8, 5-1. 8 is 9, is at 18-10. Graham, I just pull out the form of this horse, A Freak, because I see that it has held up well, and Let It Be Said and Legal Counsel, both Justin Snate runners, have come out to win. So maybe that could be the stronger form line of the maidens?
We said it when we previewed Saturday's meeting. I really enjoy these maiden plates at this time of the year in the Western Cape, in particular in the Western Cape. They've got such a depth of talent and such interesting newcomers coming through the ranks. For A Freak, certainly the form has been well franked. As you mentioned, Let It Be Said and Legal Counsel have come out to win from that form line. Has cracked a nice draw, only had the one start, and I think Empire State is a pretty decent sort. So plenty to like about number 4, A Freak. Just a word about number 5, Honor of Kings, who's of course the half-brother to Princess Kala.
Yes.
I think we'll need another run and further. Green Garnet, we haven't seen since February. He's only had the 2 starts as a gelding, so we're going to have to take his fitness on trust. But I think the form is limited. He's a 4-year-old, and I think he might be up against it here. But Eric Sands had a pretty decent day at Hollywoodbets Durbanville on Saturday. 9, Aristotle, all out for 6. Now, that form line has produced Happy Days, came out to win over the weekend when fitted with blinkers, and Dawn Till Dusk has come out of that form line. But the one that I'm most interested in is Greg Ennion's runner, number 8, Elusive Black. Now, Greg's in good form. Now, when it ran 5th behind Let It Be Said, 4th in that race was Sikorsky. the stable companion who came out to win so well over the weekend, showing a lot of guts, going very hard from start to finish. So although the form line shows that it hasn't been franked because the publication had been pre-printed, the first runner to come out of that, let it be said, form line was Sir Korski on Saturday, who finished just marginally in front of Elusive Black, both trained by Greg Enion. So I think there's a bit of value to be had about number 8, Elusive Black, but it is one of these competitive races where they're unexposed, they're improving. So 4 Afrique, 5 Honor of Kings, 7 Green Garnet, 8 Elusive Black, 9 Aristotle. Aristotle certainly is entitled to a great deal of respect, hasn't run since May. I've gone with numbers 4, 8, and 9 in the opening leg of the bipot. That's my suggested bet for this meeting. But my each-way play in the race would certainly be number 8, Elusive Black.
Graham, I'm just going to read out some comments here. I'm using the form guide, which is the computer form, and, for first-timers and horses coming off a break. In race number 2, the most positive feedback that I can get from all this is that number 9, Aristotle, Justin Stace says, no grass gallop, but showing good work back home, each way chance. And then Eric Sands on number 7, Green Garnet, says, worked well and expecting a decent run. So those are the 2 that I think one has to consider coming off the break. Numbers 7 and 9, some good comments coming through there. Race number 3 will start off the place accumulator. It's over 1,250 meters. And this is an open maiden for fillies and mare. You need to get that PA on about 13:20. Bring up the field, look at the betting. Number 4 is October Feet at 2-1. A horse that was fancied last time out ran 3rd, Candice Bass Robinson and Elder Domea. Number 7 is trading at 3-1, Graham. This horse was punted after a promising introduction at a second start. Although she didn't win, I thought it was a good run. And then we have number 10, Pink Pigeon, at 22-10. And it is double figures, the balance. It looks like we can get a form result here of these runners that I've mentioned in the betting, Graham, between numbers 4, 7 and 10.
They do look the principles, hard to go against them. Which is the right one? 4 October Fest, as you say, was backed off the boards last time out, ran 3rd, perhaps a touch disappointing. 7 Englefield Green, to my way of looking at it, brings the strongest form into the race. That Scarlet McCaw form line has really turned out well. But it'll be interesting to see how Miraculous and Back at the George go in the opener, because they represent that form behind Beware the Bomb, where Englefield Green ran 3rd in its second start. And I'm expecting further progress from number 7, Englefield Green. So I make Englefield Green the one they all have to beat, with healthy respect for number 4, October Fest, who's my second choice. Pink Pigeon, I'm going to sit on the fence with. Good second behind Be Merry on debut. Well beaten, drawn a little wide. Clearly, plenty of scope for improvement. Clearly one for the shortlist, but she'd be my 3rd choice in the race. They look to fight it out 4, 7 and 10. If you're looking beyond that for trifectas and quartets, and because it's an open maiden, the very limited True Horizon has shown a touch of improvement in her last 2 starts. She carries only 54, so she is a 4-year-old receiving weight. So for trifectas and quartets, you've got to consider number 9, True Horizon. But I do think that Englefield Green is the one they have to beat.
4 and 7 seem to be Graham's choice of numbers for the place accumulator and the bipot, and number 10 will need some luck from their draw. Then on to the big one, the Pick 6, which has been exceptionally tough down in the Western Cape. I'm sure Graham will attest to that just by the results. You always get a big bomb landing on the day. We had it this Saturday as well, the Saturday that's gone by. It's tough to catch, but it's there to be won. Open maiden, 1,250 meters. It's all about structure. Number 1 at 9-2, number 2 at 8-1. Then we have number 4 at 4-1, number 6 at 5-1. 8 is trading at 15-10, Graham. That is the favorite. And I want to get your thoughts on the price, because when I jotted down that 15-10, I know that the horses run behind One Stripe, etc. But 15-10, Graham, after what you saw on the 21st of September, is that a bit skinny, or you think realistic may even shorten?
I think it's a bit skinny. I don't trust this race, the opening leg of the Pick 6. The key horse in the race is the newcomer, number 4, Father Christmas, who's been priced up short in the market. So makes its debut for Gareth Van Sale. So doesn't have to be that good to blow this kind of field away. Doesn't meet the strongest of fields. So Father Christmas, the newcomer, is clearly the key horse in the race. But you asked me about Golden Destiny. They've thought highly of this horse. I was, quite frankly, they backed it from 2-1 to 15-10 last time. I was disappointed with the run because he moved up with every chance and then just faded away. He might have needed it badly. It was his first run since February. It was his first run as a gelding. So there's every reason to believe that Golden Destiny is going to come on leaps and bounds from that. But to go in boots and all and take the 15-10 at this early stage, I'd rather wait to see the betting as we approach race time, have a look at him in the ring. You can do that with the pick six. You can't do it with the bipod and the place accumulator. You're going to have to make those choices earlier. But from a pick six perspective, you can wait till the last minute because I think this is quite a tricky little race and much depends on the first time and number 4, Father Christmas, and much depends on how number 8, Golden Destiny, has come through that last run. There's obvious improvement to come from number 6, Run the World. One would have thought also number 3, Native Ruler, comes out of that Let It Be Said form line that comes under scrutiny a little bit earlier. One Unsung Hero got blinkers last time and ran a much better race behind 2020 Vision. Now, we were suspect of that form, but 2020 Vision's come out to win again. So he's made it back-to-back victories. So that certainly franked the form for number 1 Unsung Hero, who gets the best of the draw. And then, although you can be forgiven for not giving number 2, Firing on All Engines, a hell of a lot of time because he's had 10 starts for 3/3. He's a limited 4-year-old. This is an open maiden, though, so he gets a bit of weight, and he gets a weight for age advantage here. And that last run behind Boundless Energy came to win. Zeitz was second, came to run desperately close again over the weekend. So if you isolated that last run from all of his previous runs, and the fact that he's drawn 2, the fact that he seems to like Durbanville, and the fact that this is perhaps not the deepest field around, I won't be leaving number 2, Firing on All Engines, out of anything. So I think at around 8 or 9-1, he could have a say in the outcome. As I said, I don't trust the race, the key horse being the first timer. And I'd like to see how Golden Destiny looks in the parade ring, how he goes down, whether he's tightened up from that run a couple of weeks ago.
Okay, 15-10 Golden Destiny on the fence with him. Gonna wait till race time. But this horse number 4, Father Christmas, that Graham keeps going back to, the only first timer in the race. We know that the first timer rule will come into play for the pick six. But for bipod and place accumulators, nice gelding is what they say, can earn a stake. So that's, not a lot of confidence, but enough to keep you interested at number 4, Father Christmas. So Graham thinks that you could play to beat number 8, Golden Destiny here, or you're going to have to take your chances and banker and maybe see if there's follow through with the betting market. Graham?
I just wanted to add to all those comments. I think I like those comments because when those trainers make those comments at the very early stage of publication, they're not sure what they're running against.
Correct.
And I think that perhaps when Gareth has a look at this field, has another look at, yes, you've got to have respect for Golden Destiny because he comes with a reputation. But I would think he'd be saying to himself, I said at the time of publication that can earn a check. Maybe he feels a bit stronger about that now.
Remember, I'll give you one more. 1.1 million rand purchase, the son of Gimme the Green Light, and look at some big hitters involved. Greg Botts, Dave McLean, Gary Player, Gina Goldsmith, Drakenstein stud, Mrs. Rupert. Graduate would want to this horse to do well. First up, number 4, Father Christmas. I think that is it. Race number 5, Open Maiden, fillies and mares, 1,600 meters the distance. This race, Graham, number 2 is at 8-1. Horse number 3 is the shortest price favorite on the entire race card at 8-10. Then we got number 5 at 7-1. And it is double figures, the balance. So, Graham, I'm just going to tell you what happened from this horse's last start. That's the favorite. Golden Angel for Glenn Cotson came out to win. But more importantly, if you go to a form line out of Golden Angel, you like Champagne Kisses over the weekend. That has since come out to win. So it's a form line that's been franked twice.
Listen, this has to be the nap of the day. This has to be the banker bet of the day. We can be short and sweet here. If she doesn't win, anything can win. She obviously has to show that she gets 1,600 meters. Her first 2 runs were over 1,250 meters. And my comment here, Dees, is if she stays, she wins. She's far too good for the balance of them. It's a very limited field. Those quoted in single figures, number 2, Wedding Bells, and number 5, Green Light Legend. Well, if Kamchatka's got any kind of future, any kind of ability from gate 3, I know that Andre Nell had a very frustrating day at Hollywoodbets Durbanville over the weekend. But I think that, quite frankly, if this filly doesn't beat this field, then she's going to struggle. But clearly the question mark is the distance, because her first two starts were over 12.50. She's certainly bred to go the 1600. That should not be a problem. She's shown enough promise to win a race of this nature. All in, D's all in.
Banker, jackpot 1, number 3, and we'll also banker that in all the other exotics. Nice to get the green light from Gran when we have an odds-on shot on his thoughts, and he's given us all the confidence there in race number 5. Race number 6 is over 1,600 meters, and number 1, Pardenom, 7-1. Number 2, Fibonacci, 5-1. 3 is trading at 6-1. 5 is a runner that I want to get your thoughts on here, Graham, because I like this horse as a youngster. Infrared, 4-1. 6 is at 15-2. And then we have Lightning Glow at 9-2, and horse number 11 at 11-2. This horse, Lightning Glow, is coming back from a break. I'll give you Justin Snaith's comments. He's doing well, and an each-way chance coming off this break. So there is some confidence coming through from a horse that ended off last season with a bang, with a hat-trick. Talking about ending last season off with a bang, Graham, have a look at Green Mandarin. Also, 3 in the bounce towards the end of last season. So 2 horses that were in excellent form coming off a break. But let's start off with Infrared. Your thoughts on him as a racehorse, Graham?
I think he's top-notch. I still believe that he's not that well handicapped. 98 merit rating. He's come down a pound from his last run. He earned his rating obviously by being placed or finishing close to horses in bigger races than this. But he's distance suited. He's obviously having his 3rd run as a gelding, 3rd run after a rest, cherry ripe, peak run. Infrared, definitely one for the shortlist. This is a very, very difficult race. Class 3 handicap over 1,600 meters, being run in honor of Alec Foster's 79th birthday, one of the elder statesmen of South African racing. And we wish him well over his birthday. I'm going to go back to Pardenom. Yes. I know he embarrassed me last time out in the Settlers Trophy. Maybe he doesn't actually stay. I don't know why he ran so badly, but the fact of the matter is he reverts to 1,600 meters. He's unbeaten over track and trip over 1,600 meters. He's drawn gate 1, which is not necessarily for him an advantage. So I'm not going to carry on wax lyrical about the draw, because he does give away ground at the start in terms of he's not a very forward runner. I hope the pace is on. His Fibonacci ran second to him last time out, is better off at the weights. Infrared ran 4th in that race, is better off at the weights. So Pardenom, Fibonacci, Infrared, and in fact Future Turn, who ran 3rd in that race. So if you go back to the race on the 21st of September, Pardenom won it, Fibonacci ran 2nd, Infrared ran 4th, and Future Turn ran 3rd. They all meet again. Yes. Obviously they're all at slightly better weights than Pardenom. So there shouldn't be too much to choose between them in a very, very difficult race. Tyrion Lannister is showing signs of coming back to his best form. You mentioned Green Mandarin and Lightning Glow, both winners of their last 3 starts. I'm not quite sure why Lightning Glow didn't run again. You know, he won at the beginning of Champions season. He came to KwaZulu-Natal. We never saw him again. You can only imagine that he had some kind of a setback. As a result, we never saw him again. So he makes his seasonal debut here. One has to question the strengths of Mr. Belvedere and Etiquette, who he beat. He comes in here with a rating of 92. This race will tell us a lot of where Lightning Glow fits into the pecking order. Green Mandarin, I also think, is taking on a lot stronger than he has over his last 3. He's jumped up in the rating. So I'm actually happy, at my peril perhaps. I do think this is a kind of a field race if you play the jackpot, particularly if you're going to bank a Kamchatka and get away with that in the first leg. The pick 6, of course, you can't just keep going field. So I'm going to sit on the fence a little with 6 Green Mandarin and 9 Lightning Glow. But I'm not going to ignore the chances of Blue Bay, who's stable companion to Infrared. I think that comes into the race with a chance. It's a trappy Class 3 handicap. It's a nice race because they're nice horses running. There's a lot of collateral form. I might be off the mark. I'm going to go back to the well that I went to 2 runs back. We labelled Pardenom at a big price when he came back over 1,600 metres in this class of race on the 10th of September. So I'm going to go back to the well. He treated me well that day. I'm not going to desert him. But clearly on handicap, revised handicapping terms, Pardenom, Fibonacci, Infrared, Future Turn, the winner could come from any one of those 4. And of course, then you've got the likes of Tyrion Lannister, Infrared, Green Mandarin, Blue Bay. The list goes on. It's a tough tough competitive race. Nice race.
So, Graham's given you a lot to try and digest there for race number 6. You have to try and work it out now with that type of information, but reading in between the lines, and I know that he's got a soft spot for this horse. We all have soft spots for horses that have been kind to us in the past, and maybe it's Pardenom that can bounce back to the form that he showed at his penultimate start when Graham tipped him at a decent price of around 12-1. Number 1, Pardenom, going to be the roving banker for Graham Hawkins. Race number 7 will be Jackpot 2. We got 10 races carded. If you want to play Jackpot 2, 1535, 1800 meters is the distance. Number 1 is at 5-1. Horse number 3 is at 6-1. 5 is at 8-1. Number 6, Noshan, that is at 28-10. 7 at 28-10, who is the stable companion. And Graham, the stable of Paul Reeves has Ozark in the race, who was a winner last time out, 28-10. I say the stable of Paul Reeves because we were both just, complimenting the yard before we kicked off the show on how well the stable's doing.
Yeah, come back with a vengeance. Nice double. 1,500-1 double.
Oh no!
On Saturday, of course, Garden of Eden wasn't a train smash for the pick 6 because he got up to beat, or she got up to beat Tuscan Romance.
Yeah, first time.
Being a first time but that jackpot paid 41,000. But so Paul Reeves, and for that matter, Pitt Buerter, 2 of the smaller yards, they're flying along merrily. And this is a Class 5, 1,800 meters. I think we can be short and sweet here as well because these races we know can produce upsets, but I'm expecting the winner in no particular order. I'm not going to stick my neck out as to order, but I'm expecting the winner to come from one of numbers 6, Norshan, 7, Golden Grey, and 8, Ozark. I think all 3 have got to go into the play. You're a brave man to try and separate them. Perhaps Norshan because he steps back to 1,800 meters from his last start of 1,600, where perhaps it was a touch on the sharp side. But they're all limited. It's a Class 5 handicap. State capital and flight display to the moon and back. They can get into the fray, but we can't mention every horse in every race. So 6, 7, and 8 for me. That's the short list. That's the viable short list. I'm not sure which is going to come out on top.
Well, Graham siding with the fixed odds betting market. You don't often see this. 3 horses joint at top of the betting board. 6, 7, and 8 all trading at 28-10, and they've separated themselves from the balance of the field. The next best being number 1, State Control, at 5-1. So we're hoping for a form result in Jackpot 2 race number 7. We move along to the last pick 3 on the card, talking about Mr. Paul Reeves. Well, here's it here. Reeves Racing Syndicate, a race number 8. It's over 1,400 meters. Number 1 is trading at 9-2. Horse number 3, Sail the Steez from the Justin Snade stable. Graham's going to give us his thoughts on what he thinks happened last time out, because the horse ran to a point and then didn't go on with it. That's trading at 5-2. Horse number 4 at 11-2. 5 is at 33-10 Graham. 8 is at 7-1, and 9 at 8-1. I'd like to start off with Justin Snade's runner, Sail the Seas, who is a well-bred individual, son of Vercingetorix. They punted him last time out, Graham, like he was going to be the horse to beat behind Big Unit, but he didn't go on with it.
Yeah, a little disappointing in the latter stages. It was his first run in a few months. Richard Faree takes the ride this time, drawn in gate 3, so you've got to respect number 3, Sail the Seas. Is going to improve. Whether he's going to improve sufficiently to win this race, only the race will show us, but you have to have a measure of respect for him. Kariaku, interesting form at this track. He's had 6 starts with 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and 2 fourths. He's never been out of the frame, but he's yet to win at the track. But he ran a better race last time out. We know he's got ability. He's not always consistent. You've got to throw him into the mix, but you can't rely on Kariaku. I found a bit of value here, Dees. I really like the source of Ricky Mangold's number 7, Winter Pearl. I don't know why he ran so disappointingly last time out. Prior to that, he ran second to Escarpment. But what has caught my eye is the fact that he comes well at this time of the year. He goes well at Durbanville. He's had 2 starts over the distance for a win and a second. He's had 2 wins at the track. So if you go back to the 10th of October last year, he ran second over track and trip to Like the Clappers, then followed up with 2 wins. The point I'm making, albeit a long time ago, is that he seems to come well at this time of the year. We know he's got a bit of ability. He's priced up generously. And Ricky Mangold's horses have been running there and thereabouts. He had a first-timer run on Saturday. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Came from last round on to run 5th. That's definitely one for the notebook. So in a race that is quite trappy, it's a Class 4 1,400-metre race. I do make number 5, Kariaku, probably the one to beat if he brings his A game to the track. But I think the value lies with number 7, Winter Pearl.
Okay, I'm just trying to see what's the betting for Graham's selection here, because that could be something. It's race number 8, and I'm bringing up the field, and it's number 7, Winter Pearl. 10-1, Graham. That is the price of the horse. 10-1, double figures is Winter Pearl. That could be a nice inclusion in all your bets, because you're sure to drop tickets if that has to arrive, because there are other runners. And I say other runners, well, the majority of the field seem to be in single figures here. But number 7, Winter Pearl, could be a nice inclusion. Always looking for some values, Graham Hawkins, and maybe he's found one in race number 8. Race number 9 is over 1,000 meters. It's the last double on the card. And that could be a nice way to end off your day. You know, the last double when maybe you need it most, or maybe you're in front and you want to capitalize on your profit. Number 1 is at 4-1. Horse number 5 at 5-1. 6 is at 7-2. 7 at 11-2. 8 is at 33-10. There is a form update here for number 3. Ran 8, 5.5 lengths behind All the Boys I've Loved. I don't know whether that will take its part or not, but that's the form update. Your thoughts here in the last leg of the PA and the Pick 6?
Don't know which are worse, Open Maidens, Class 5 handicaps, or the recently introduced Cape D Stakes. I don't know which are more difficult to work out. The fillies obviously get a bit of an advantage, but if you look at the form here, there's not much to work with. 6 Tambourine Man, priced up favourite because of the lack of opposition. But I think the right horse could be Wiley Jack. I didn't often think I'd be saying that about the 6-year-old son of Wiley Hall, but he is a 3-time winner. He does know what it is to win. He's got 61.5 in his back, but you can hardly fault his recent form. So if you're looking for the one that's likeliest to give you the best run for your money in the race, then it has to be number 7, Wiley Jack, who's priced up quite generously at 5-1. It's not as if it's a very short price. The ones, as you mentioned, in the market, Electric Fields, better run last time. Will she reproduce? That's the question. Explicit content. There and thereabouts, but without really getting a solid blow in since beating Lover's Lane back in July. Might be one of those wet weather kind of specialists. Tambourine Man, I'm not convinced that Hollywoodbets Durbanville is his best track. I think he likes, I think he might prefer the straight course at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. But clearly the opposition again here is quite limited, so he should get a blow in. Nile the Boss steps back to 1,000 meters. That might actually be in her favour. It's a distance that she's only ever run once over, and she ran 3rd, and it was a while back. And so she might be better over this type of trip. And we've been talking about Pit Boerter, Liam Kotwa, who rides Shifting Path in the Lasters, gets on really well with the stable. So Wiley Jack, a none too convincing first choice for me, but go as wide as you can. I can't be of much help in these races because there are many form reversals, and it's to be expected at the lower level. Yeah,
at the lower level, as Graham mentioned, when we talk about these D Division stakes races, well, it basically means a cap rating and below, and this is a cap rating of 64, so horses races 64 and below. That's the Cape D Stakes. Race number 9. Now on to the 10th race. Graham said it's very difficult, race number 9. If you're running in the Pick 6 and place accumulator, hopefully everything has fallen into place there. But the 10th race over 1,000 meters, is the field going to look the same for Graham Hawkins, because the betting tells a story. Number 1 is at 7-1. Number 4 at 4-1. 5 is at 5-1. 6 is at 9-2. We did speak about the Shifting Path form line that's well represented in race number 9. Can it come to the 4 in that race to give us a bit more confidence with the horse that's in the form of his career? Number 7. He's trading at 28-10, and 8 Bluff on Bluff, who always gets an inclusion from me in trifectas and quartets. He's trading at 4-1. Shifting Path looks to be the key horse here, Graham. You know, one has to compliment the stable firstly. Not too long ago, he was rated a 63. And with all those wins that he's had, he's now jumped up to an 80. But he just continues to raise his game.
I was very frustrated with his last win. He lost ground at the start. I thought, okay, that's great, because I took the 16-1 Bluff and Bluff. I said, we've got Shifting Path out of the way.
Yes.
And Bluff and Bluff came through down the rail. I said, race over.
So
big win at a big price. And can you believe Louis Mkotwa, who's won 4 times from 5 rides on the
Sure.
source? He's ridden it 5 times for 4 wins in a second after losing 3 or 4 lengths at the gates, which he had no right to win that race, Shifting Path.
Yes.
He's just, as you say, in the form of his life. But full marks to him. When you get beat under those circumstances, you take it on the chin. I was smarting for an hour or so because I was counting the cash with Bluff and Bluff.
Sure.
So if you take that form literally, the fact that he beat Bluff and Bluff by a short head, Shifting Path's effort and win was far more meritorious than that because, as I say, he blew the start and still got up to win. How many more times can he win? He's gone up now to an 80.
Yes.
He's got 60 on his back. But I haven't been catching him right. So, when you're previewing these races, you think to yourself, that's him. He's done enough.
Sure.
But I can't say that about Shifting Path. So he's got to go into the play. But there are a few that I do. Well, there are 2 that I like predominantly. I do think Swift Action has been priced up wrongly, was the worst of the draw last time, went behind Shifting Path. I think it was forced up a little wide in the early stages. Gate 1, good form overall. Keenan Steyn knows him well. He's won 4 times. Gate 1, I think Swift Action at 7-1 is overpriced. And then Major Apollo. I think this is a player in this race again. Cornet offer rides for Greg Enion. He's also a multiple winner, and he ran against Swift Action a little while back, and he beat Shifting Path. Now look at this, Dees. He beat Shifting Path, albeit at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, albeit in soft track. They're getting neither in the last race at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, the 11th of June. They met at a level weights.
Sure.
Now he's receiving 3.5, and he beat him on that occasion. Was it the going? Was it Kenilworth? But Major Apollo is a certain inclusion. So if you're looking to go light in this race, and I'm not going to desert Bluff and Bluff entirely, if you're looking to go light in this race, then my top 3 choices would be 1 Swift Action, 5 Major Apollo, 7 Shifting Path. Then, if you're going to go beyond that, you've got to throw in the likes of number 6 All About L, 8 Bluff and 4 The Mark, and then it starts to get expensive. So it depends how you're structuring your bets as to how wide you go in the 10th race. My top choice in the race would be number 5, Major Apollo, ahead of 1 Swift Action, then 7 Shifting Path. Those would be my top 3. But if you said to me the Mask was going to win, All About L was going to win, or Bluff and Bluff was going to win, I wouldn't be surprised.
There is form to work around, as Graham alluded to. Few runners have met each other. Weight reversal, Shifting Path in the form of his career. Hard luck stories for a few runners. You can try and work things out here, but it's all there in black and white. And I think that number 7, Shifting Path, is the favorite on the top of the betting boards, and rightfully so. On the form that he's in, the fact that he just continues to win. Graham mentioned his meritorious victory last time out that cost him a whole bucket load of cash. But nevertheless, number 7, Shifting Path, will be the right horse to rove in all your bets. And that's the 10 races at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, but we still got the suggested bet from Graham Hawkins to go through. And Graham, it is a bipod?
Yes, Dees, it is the bipod. Starts race 2, 12:45 is the time of the first leg of the bipod. Going with numbers 4, 8 and 9, Afrique, Elusive Black, Aristotle. Elusive Black, my marginal first choice. Second leg, numbers 4, Oktoberfest, and 7, Englefield Green. Third leg, numbers 1, 4, 6 and 8. This is where Father Christmas makes its debut, a little earlier than December the 25th. Unsung Hero, number 1, Father Christmas, number 4, Run the World, number 6, and Golden Destiny, number 8. Then we Banker, number 3, Kamchatka. All our eggs are going to be in that basket. Hopefully the daughter of Erupt gets home over the 1600. She's the key runner for all exotics on the day. Then numbers 1, 2, 5, and 9. And the last leg we're going 6, 7, and 8, Norshan, Golden Grey, and Ozark. That is the suggested bipod. Kamchatka, the nap of the day. We're all in, or we're all out, Dees.
144 will give you 50%. Just worked it out. 144 Rand gives you 50% of that bet. And if you double up, and that's what happens in your perm, take it for a percentage, try and multiply it out, and that is how you get a decent dividend. You have to play these days, Graham. You know, I'm just looking at the results all over the country, but in particular in the Western Cape. It seems like you play the percentage and you hope to multiply out.
Absolutely. Place accumulator, bipod. You know, we've said this, we said it earlier in the show. the Western Cape don't stage as many meetings as some of the other venues around it. They've got some very competitive horses, so they all come together.
Yes.
In very strong maiden plates. That's why I find the maidens at this time of the year very interesting, and of course when the juveniles start to come out a little bit later on, there's a whole lot of renewed interest. But the interest in these maidens with the 3-year-olds coming out will be there for, we had it in August, September, October, to go all the way through to December, because many of these maidens,
yes,
with respect to the other racing jurisdictions, that are running 4th, 5th and 6th and trying to find their way into the winners' enclosure, would win on debut anywhere else in the country.
What Graham is saying, there's quality, it's competitive, therefore the big size of the fields with those maidens, and it is tough to win a maiden in the Western Cape. Thanks to Graham Hawkins, nice having him in town on behalf of the Gallop TV team. Graham Hawkins, myself, Dees Dine, and to you, the valued racing fan. It's the first meeting of a new week. Tuesday at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Have a blast, find all the winners, and hopefully it turns out to be a wonderful, profitable day for you. Until we meet again, you take care. Salani Gasle.